This is a newspaper review segment where you call in, we open the phone lines. The numbers to call are on your TV screen. And joining us to review this is public affairs analyst Sesan Okunade. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Good
Great
morning,
to see you.
Good morning.
Beautiful morning. You're looking very sharp and dapper, I must say.
Thank you very much.
Seems he just arrived from St. Lucia.
I just arrived.
What do you make of the president giving the students,
St. Lucia's
students, scholarship to come and
study
school
in Nigerian University?
in University of Ibadan, University of Port Harcourt,
or Ambrose Ali University.
Ambrose Ali, National Open University.
Well, you see,
Old Man Danfodio University in Sokoto.
yeah, you see, it's a good wish, a good desire by Mr. President, but you ask yourself, what are those measures that you've actually put in locally, security-wise, one, infrastructure. I'm sure not in the next few months you start hearing about ASU going on strike. As ASU is coming on their own, NASU we go. So the academic staff union are on board and the non-academic are going. And before you know it, you talked about infrastructure gap, where, the level at which education is going this day, you need power. And how strategic are we putting power in infrastructure? Most of the schools we're talking about, are they on alternative power supply, where you don't rely on the national grid that fails, or are they on band A? Let me put it that way. And for those that are on band A, are those costs affordable for them to pay in such a way that they can meet up? A lot of things. It's not enough for you to just go into the open space and ask people to come in. Those of us within, have we actually benefited from some of the largest? How many of the children of the people working with Mr. President are going to those schools? That's where we must start from. Because I always tell people, Oliver has a school. The son or the daughter, hypothetically, attends Benga school, and she's inviting me to bring my kids to her school. How do you expect me to patronize you? Your children are leaving for foreign schools because they can see the failure within. We are not fixing that. We are inviting people.
That is if our Nigerian students have not even started researching academic situation in St. Lucia to see if they can go abroad and
I'm sure if you go and put up your research, we have the largest number in that particular St. Lucia.
Oh, yes. There was a picture of Mr. President with a Nigerian student. I think he's a medical student in St. Lucia. So, but I don't think the reverse is going to happen.
It's not. We must fix things. You see, you don't need to invite people. They will come naturally. Yeah. All our students, how many people are inviting them to come to UK, to come to Canada? Those environments are there conducive for them to learn, and they can definitely project to some of those things.
Be fixed.
I think that St. Lucia will be used to eating concoction rice.
When he said power, I was almost going to say, somebody say power. But let's start with the Daily Independent and see the big story. Atiku Mark Secondus, PDP bigwigs ask members, Nigerians, to join coalition. They say APC government is now a disaster, must be voted out. Indices of development have collapsed. Life now held in Nigeria. Coalition not threat to APC, says Dalori, ruling party's acting chair. Infrastructure is most persuasive advertisement of leadership, says Tinubu. AKK gas pipeline, NNPC announces successful crossing of River Niger. French government doles out 38 million euros for ICT infrastructure in 10 Nigerian varsities. Wow, that's an interesting one. Tinubu names former Nasarawa Governor Al-Makura board chairman of UBEC. Dangote's initiative will stimulate economic growth, energy experts say. INEC set to release new guidelines on reviewing declared results. And finally, subsidy cut. Buhari didn't undermine Tinubu's government, Garba Shehu says. Let's talk about the coalition. Your thoughts on the coalition?
Well, APC had it years back, and I think PDP are trying their own way to see if they can come together. But there are fundamentals that is worrisome to me, if you ask me. The person PDP can call the major driver to lead that particular thing, does he have that grounds to actually carry everybody along the way the current president, Bola Tinubu, was able to do for APC and Galvanise? It was ACN there that was given the leading role for CPC and I think Abga. And I know there were three coalitions that came together. But you can see President Bola Tinubu then as the major leader that everybody see, and you were able to integrate into their vision and say, let's come together and move. I'm not saying that leadership role in PDP and gives me so much worry.
Maybe
people
not
would
yet.
have been not yet.
Because they're supposed to meet today. I guess we'll get more information.
Somebody must be able to give that direction where you see in every association like that, there must be one or two individuals you can see at Arrowhead that will be able to give that leading role.
There's an Atiku there, there's Mark. I mean, won't you think it's either one of them?
Except if Wike will not be part of the meeting and Sheyi will not be there. These are people that will definitely come in with their own strong wit and say, where was the vice president, former vice president, why things were not shaking? And you know, the way the coalition is even going, you want to actually discontinue with PDP. I think it should be maybe Maja to come and say, let every one of us galvanize and see how we can strengthen
and I guess
PDP.
that's why they're using the ADC as a vehicle.
ADC is completely far from it. Did you see P in that thing, in that name? Did you see D? Did you see P? So, but when you look at APC, you see ACN with CPC and I think ABGA, and you are able to. But I think the fundamental thing is having one or two key persons that everybody can actually say, this is our leader and we are believing in what they're saying. So, but it's a good thing for them to do. You know, every now and then we come to this station, we said they've not been able to fulfill that role we expected them to play as opposition party for the current administration. You know, they seems to have a lot of challenges, you know, amidst them that is not allowing them to give that position of criticizing, you know, the government objectively. But let's see what the meeting will come out with today, and I think that will give a direction of where to go.
Well, that's a good one.
Let's see how that will turn out. But let's talk about INEC. INEC set to release new guidelines on reviewing declared results. So there are a number of things that they're looking at. The review of, excuse me, Section 65 of the Electoral Act, which in some measure, I mean, gives a lot of power to INEC as well as the REC. So there's certain guidelines that will be announced. Earlier today, we had Chief Peter Ame, who was speaking about how the focus should not be on reviewing Section 65, but the focus should be on ensuring that we have a real-time transmission of results, and focus on being that the president should not be the one to empower the INEC officials, because it's just like saying a referee is playing in his own game. You know, so those were some of his feedback. But I don't know if you think that there should be some guidelines.
Yeah, you see, most of the time we have new intro into some of the things we're doing without actually, let me say, maximizing what we have in existence. What are the things that we feel we need to do? If you are reviewing this particular thing, one of the things that would have given us, maybe the younger generation, the hope that things are actually changing is the online transmission, which a lot of us saw the challenges. And then a lot of people were actually after me to say no. But I said, when you don't have the infrastructure to write on, how do you expect online real-time transmission of some of these results? Yeah. The power is not there. I'm sure as close as we are, if we start trying to send messages via the internet platform, it can be very funny at times. And that is the same platform you actually need to do. We must start the first thing first before we start considering the issue of whether we want to review the process at which we are getting the result. Technology is the intake thing for everybody to do. Once the infrastructure is there, you upload the result without thinking. Do you know at times you can be working on a certain things to upload a file, and it will be rolling for minutes. And in that process, anything can happen. You can even send it and it will not deliver. Have you seen the process of trying to transfer funds to someone? You are debited and the other party is not getting those things there. It still lies on the infrastructure at which we are actually working on. So I feel that the first thing we need to do is to improve on our infrastructure, adopt the electronic way of transmitting that result. That on its own, we give that confidence. I can give you a leeway. Majority of the professional bodies adopted it. I think the last election by professional body, The cutoff time was 12 noon, and we saw the process. At that point in time, AGM was going on. They stopped it. Everybody concentrated on the result. They logged in into that particular portal, logged in, and we saw the result transmitted within 5 minutes. And everybody saw the result. Okay, this is the number for this candidate. This is the number for this candidate. And you need to come and see the confidence. And we said technology working in that particular. How can we adopt this same process? I know there can be issues because we have not even spread the infrastructure. What do you talk about the rural area where internet is not working, where power is not working, where people are using the last election, people who are actually using torchlight to come and write result and get some of those things out. How do you manage some of those things? I think first thing first, how do we keep saying it, improve on our infrastructure? A lot of things are actually beckoning on it. I saw one of your headlines in that Daily Independent talking about maybe those 10 varsities are what Mr. President is actually
the French, gifting them
ICT infrastructure, so that. But I asked, when you give some of those ICT infrastructure, what are they going to write on? Because every ICT infrastructure requires 24/7 power supply. Without that, you can't function. Because I can stay at the comfort of my home and work, plug into some of the activities I need to do in school. If the system in the school is not up and running, how do I, as a student, or do you want to restrict it and say the reading time should be this, when people like us like reading at night and the system is down because there is no power supply? We must get some of those infrastructure fixed if we must definitely move and grow as a nation.
All right. Let's look at Daily Trust, Daily Trust newspaper, the front page of Daily Trust. Ahead ADC's meeting today, Atiku woos PDP leaders for coalition. I think that's more reason why our guest couldn't join us today, as well known. This ADC meeting is coming on the back heel of one that was held yesterday. Yesterday, we're told that key leaders in the People's Democratic Party, including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido, ex-Senate President David Mark, who has been made the chairman of the ADC now. Also, other party bigwigs were reportedly on their way out of the PDP. So the PDP is going to not just lose members, but also lose key members. The reason why they're moving, well, the reason is because of a meeting that's built to hold today, which is the ADC meeting where Atiku has called on former, or say PDP members to leave the PDP and come in for a coalition. I know you've spoken on it already, but would like to get your thoughts on the angle, a different angle this time. And the angle I'd like to get your thoughts in is the angle of having a huge number of PDP members getting ready to resign and move to the ADC. Why do you think the SDP did not work, but now they had to change course and go to the ADC?
Maybe on a lighter note, Joe. If you ask me now, I'll ask. The question is not about changing nomenclature. It's about the personality and individual behind this. We've seen this happen, and we've said, because majority of our politicians lack ideology. It's about what is in it for me, and not even for the people they are going to lead. So you could not agree with SDP. The same set of people are coming to ADC after collapsing PDP. Don't forget, I always make reference that ACN was strong, CPC was strong, ABGA was strong individually before they come in with that coalition. They did not actually collapse any of their structure. They came in with their strength and area of negotiation. But what we are saying is collapsing one and winning them to other side. And I asked, what different would that mean? It's just change of nomenclature that we're saying. So the problem that you are living in the former party where you are exiting is the same problem you are going to face where you're going. If you are coming, because now you are winning them, that means the baggage you claim you are living in that party, you are bringing them into ADC. I think it's something that we need to have a thought through. If you ask me, it's a free world. They are supposed to have that, but I feel that I see this as more of change of nomenclature, change of name, because the same set of... So if you are going to ADC, why can't you work to correct some of those anomalies in PDP? Because don't forget that before this administration, before Buhari took over, PDP gave us that word that they were going to lead this country for, I think, for like, is it 30 or 40 years before APC came on board? And not too long, 60 years. Yeah. 60 years. Not too long, the same party is actually going into 10 year, and we are looking for ADC. I feel we should have a deeper thought of that party. If ADC wants to move, leave the baggage. Because I'm sure there were crises. That was why you're actually metamorphosing into another party. And you don't need to now carry those baggage along, which might later become a problem. And before you know it, ADC will become another party that will say, we cannot even do anything that is obtainable. Because, you know, David Mark and the likes, they play a strategic role in PDP. If that can collapse under their face, what is the fate of the new party that we are going?
Okay. Now let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper. Quite a number of stories on the front page here. But the Guardian terms it as Northern PDP leaders, I guess because a few personalities in the PDP missing from that coalition. Northern PDP leaders settle on ADC as preferred coalition platform. Obi flays St. Lucia's highest honor Knight Commander title on Tinubu. So I hope the St. Lucians will be getting that feedback. Mr. Peter Obi is not really happy with that. Rep's ticket may cost 500 million naira, post-election litigation 1 billion naira. So year on year, electoral cycle after electoral cycle, the prices of nomination forms spiraling beyond the control of ordinary Nigerians. So I guess maybe politics is only open to wealthy people, but that's a discussion I would like us to talk about. Ondo's government quest to probe Akeredolu's death sparks controversy. I mean, this man died a few years ago, and there wasn't any suspicion of foul play. So I wonder, after destroying the memorial in the Owo, now they're looking at, you know, probing his death. Rivers Lagos was hit as cold clashes claims 1,686 lives in 5 years. And the operators demand increase to stave off 6 trillion naira gas debt. Tariff increase, please don't mind them. They should find other ways of doing that instead of increasing the tariff. Let's talk about this cultism. It's an issue that people really don't talk about, and these days they're recruiting younger people. Rivers Lagos was hit as cold clashes claims 1,686 lives in 5 years. What do you think is the driving force behind recruitment? Why should anybody want to join a cult?
Yeah, first and foremost, I will take it to what I refer to loss of our values. A lot of us, while we're growing up, there are basic things that you learn and you call your core value, which you want to protect as you go on. But we've diverted completely or deviated completely from this, and it's becoming so worrisome. These days, part of the challenges we are faced with is we celebrate money more than any other thing. And a lot of people have gone into what they are not supposed to do, all in the aspect of getting that money. And
I mean, somebody even slept in the ceiling of the bank.
Because he wants to have
when he's not Spider-Man.
It might be our own local Spider-Man to actually gain those access. It's all about, and I always tell individuals, you won't blame it because there are economic hardship, and the last resort for you is to go into ritualism or go. You see, those things started fundamentally from those areas. 1, 2, lack of parental guidance. These days, parents seem to turn off their eyes on what their children are doing. And they will hide it under the level of economic hardship. Mom and dad needs to go out 24/7. You don't even know what your children are doing while you are off the house. Those days, our parents grew up to actually ask questions of activities that you have carried out. They monitor some of the things that you're doing, and that puts you on check. I feel that's a gap that we have created. Not that alone. You now see an atmosphere where parents celebrate some of this cultism. Not too long, you heard about some mothers coming out to say they are happy to identify their children, being part of the internet fraudster. I remembered that video came out, and people now say, why do you have to stay at home? This person has gone to do this. What exactly have you done? When you go Yahoo, right, it is not just, siphoning money. A lot of them are occultic. If you see underground.
That one is Yahoo Plus with Calabash.
But you will start with Yahoo and it's graduation. It's just starting from one class. When you get to primary 3, there are certain technicalities they will introduce you to. And when you see parents on their own because they want for materialism, not overburden them, ask their children to go that route. So when it becomes a cult member, I'm sure you've heard stories of children using their parents as for rituals, And so I feel we have parental gap where parents lack that coordination on what their children are doing. Those that are even available feel that materiality is the way to go. And if you are not there, you are not there. So we should start correcting those values in which we have in our environment. While we are growing up, I don't know, there are some rhymes we listen to. There are some poems you read that makes you feel as if, I have to be a better person for the future. Not these days, where you look at, even in the church, even in religious houses, where people you cannot even know the foundation of their wealth are taking position, and people are looking at them, and when you ask them, you say, okay, just see me in confidence to tell you what they're doing. When they open up on certain things they are doing, you ask yourself the route to go. So I think it's about our value system, which I would say is completely collapsed, where parents does not supervise the activities of what their children are doing, and some are even promoting their children because of materialism.
I say back in the day, if you come back with certain kind of gifts, you are in trouble if you cannot explain to your parents where you got it.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a video on social media recently, a mother who was living obviously in an underserved community. You could tell that these people are just trying to make ends meet. Her son came back with a Benz and they were celebrating him. And you could, you could tell it was a very young boy, someone that should probably be in secondary school. And the question is, how can this kind of a young boy afford Benz when his mom is not able to make ends meet? This is not a matter of profiling. If 2 and 2 is not, equal to 4, then there's a problem somewhere. So yes, it's very important that parents also know that they also have a role to play in upholding our values.
Maybe they increase his salary at work.
Which work?
For which work?
Which working day?
Somebody that they are still feeding.
Someone that is supposed to be in secondary school. Not as bad as SS3. I want us to talk about a story on The Guardian where, was it The Guardian I saw it? Where they were asking for a coroner's inquest into the death. Okay, yes, on those government quests to probe Akeredolu's health sparks controversy. Now, former Governor Akeredolu, late Governor Akeredolu died according to the report, he died in Germany on the 27th of December 2023 after a protracted illness. After his death, Atiku, of course, was the acting governor and was sworn in as the substantive governor. However, on Monday, the government has said that they've received many petitions from residents of Owo, and that these residents are asking that, and some professional groups as well, asking that they probe the death of the former governor. And it's a bit confusing because we thought that, this matter had, without trying to be dark, died a natural death. But now it's now looking like, is there more to it? Why is this a conversation now?
Yeah, it's worrisome to me too, because if you asked me, I think at a point in time, we all understand the fact that the man had a few challenges health-wise, and that was why he was flew out. Whatever investigation they need to carry out, I consider that to be more of a distraction, if you ask me. The man has gone to sleep. And if there are, pardon me, if there are people who masterminded in this, there are nemesis that catch up with people without you even, investigating anything. But I feel that they will be opening up certain things that might be affecting the family. It's gone, possibly maybe we'll be talking about just remembering the man of some of the legacy work he has done while he was governor. I will always give credit to the man for his doggedness. He is the man that brought this Amotekun in terms of security to the Southwest. He stood his ground to the government. There are great legacy the man has actually done that we can celebrate as against just trying to open I don't know the rationale behind it.
So that's actually what's confusing me, right? If you go on social media, of course, people have been reacting to this. There are those who think that this might be done to get at his late widow. Maybe there's a suspicion of foul play. These are just speculations. They're not in any way confirmed. So we don't know what the spirit behind this is. And I do think if there was any reason for foul play, if there was anything that could have indicated foul play, it's important that it's investigated so that, whoever needs to face the law faces the law. But if this isn't a situation where there was genuine cause to believe there was foul play,
because at times
why are we
people
resurrecting this? People
but at times people raise what should
man,
not.
I don't know. Some people think, I've seen some reactions to people who say that they think Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa is putting a nail to his political career if he goes ahead to investigate this.
Well, I can't say anything so much about that. But the truth is, if anybody asks me this question, let's celebrate the legacy of the man. He's gone to rest, and the good works he has done should be part of the things we should, not opening up if that has happened, I think few months, you're talking of December 2023, that's running to 2 years now. We should just allow the man to rest in peace and let the development of the state continue. I will always tell every individual that care to listen, if you do something funny behind the scene, if nobody is seeing you, your creator is seeing you, when he will deal with you, I won't be there as an individual. And when you are facing the consequence, it will only be you and that person that has done. But I think what we need more is what can give good development to the people of the state as different from this investigation that can distract a lot of things to be.
Just before we wrap up on the papers, let's talk about this. On the front page of The Guardian, Rep Siket may cost 500 million, post-election litigation 1 billion. This monetization of forms, I guess that's why so many parties were rushing to INEC to get registered, because it's almost a revenue generating thing for them to sell those forms and make some
cool
money. Do you think we should put a cap on how much forms to seek elective offices should cost, or it should be the prerogative of the parties? Because what we're seeing here is a monetization, and when they get into power, of course, they try to recoup the monies that was spent on campaigns and buying these forms. Because how much is a piece of paper at the end of the day? I know it's beyond that paper. They use the money to organize secretariat work and all of that. But 500 million for tickets, it's ridiculous for reps. And then let alone presidency, governorship, and what have you.
Benga, we spoke about value system. I will take that into our political space. At least I'm of little age to know how this transferred during our fathers, where it was a collective agreement to say, let's put resources together as a political party and sponsor Benga. Would have been contributing our widows' marriage. People get their 5 naira, not individual coming. These days, what we're saying is individual comes with that open sum of money, controls the party, dictates what it feels it should be, even if it is against the principle of other people that are there and they want to find their exit way out. I don't think that is the route we need to go with our system. But if you ask me, it is the current operation of most political parties. And a lot of people, like you said, now look for a way to register. So the intention is that we cannot even go anywhere. Benga, we know you have money. Come and vote for governor. So when you give us 500 million, a lot of us will go behind the scene, we share. You will go. Because I keep asking myself, by the time you pay 500 million for nomination form, what about the campaign cost? What we are going to explain. So what will be the actual cost of actually venturing into this? And we keep asking the question, when you get into power, you want to have the people at heart. You've already collected the money. And the disheartening thing is that it is not the people that the political party will use the money for. They will use it for themselves, who are part of the who are in the political party, internally settling what should be, should not be. But it's worrisome for me if we keep, increasing the load. That means we might find it difficult to get credible candidates that have the interest of the people at heart. It will be more of people that will dose in their money. And don't be surprised that in no distance time, the set of people that we've just discussed about, the internet fraudsters, we have their background, get the money, they come into a clean guy, go into politics, and start luring other people to be part of it.
It started happening.
There's a story I wanted us to take, but I don't know that we have enough time.
No, we don't have enough time.